afternoon. Good morning. How is everybody? Hope you're doing well. We got Michael Owens from Missouri coming at you. Cool and out. Yo-Yo Rain. Do you remember, what was that? What was that band? Korn did a remake of them. Remake of it. God, what was the name? What was the name? They were big in the 80s. They were like an R&B band in the 80s. And Korn redid one of their songs. Let's see. What was the band that Korn covered R&B? It started with a C, I thought. Not Boys to Men. Oh, that's Jason. Look at that guy's face. Cameo. That's what it was. I knew it started with a C. It's Cameo. Everybody look at this guy's face. Right there. Jason Wallace. Number one, he's putting his full name on display. Actually, that's kind of a common name, though. Full name on display. Jason's a friend of mine. We're supposed to be working on another channel together, but he never quite... That's what it's like working with Jason Wallace. Cameo, that's right. Cameo, word up. Cameo, word up. What's up, man? About to grab some... Oh, my goodness, Dick. What a treat that is. I haven't had Taco Bell for a while. I need to get some of that. Like their cheese, their dipping cheese, like their queso, is like a color of yellow, like a yellowish orange that doesn't exist in nature. And I love that. Absolutely love it. What up? Me, Timo. I almost said me too. That wouldn't be right. Timo. I'm great. Happy New Year. Awesome, Dragnet. Look at your green turntable. Loved the red jockstrap with Cameo. Ben Gleason. Best beard in the business. Has it changed? When will we find out? I don't know, Ben. You should put a profile picture of yourself on there. Great day to discuss audio. How's the health journey going? I just got a cold, and then like I couldn't get over it, and then I went to the. I blew. Okay, this is gonna get graphic. I blew my nose, and it was like a watered down version of Taco Bell's queso, and it was a color I'd never quite seen before come out of me, and I'm like, oh, well, this is weird, and then it just kept dripping out. I'm like, I'm going to the doctor. I'm done with this. Because one of the other parents at the elementary school had a sinus infection too. So I'm like, maybe I have a sinus infection. Sure enough, I did. I've been on, whatchamacallit, antibiotics. Feel awesome. Although, I think I forgot to take it this morning, so I need to remember to take it after this. Wesley Fletcher. Hey, Randy. I was just getting over a cold, so I feel you. Wes, I get to see you next week. Yay! Feliciano, hey, just here enjoying my Ethiopian medium roast coffee with some cam goodness. That sounds delightful. I should sell coffee. I should, if I got cheap Audio Man coffee, would you guys buy it? People? Would you people buy it? Would you buy some cheap Audio Man coffee? Hey, Rainey, I'm just getting over, oh, sorry. Wes, I just already read that. All right. Hopefully we're still connected. Breathing is overrated. That's right, Neil. We shouldn't have to breathe. Make sure you take a probiotic with that antibiotic. I know it'll completely mess up your gut biome if you take antibiotics. It'll kill up. Listen, I eat terribly. I don't eat like I should. I don't have a gut biome. So, anyway. I am 74 and hi-fi and music have been my passion since childhood. Edward, I'm with you. I just had to write a bio for myself And I wrote that. Like I've been listening to music. I've loved everything that makes music since I was 6. So that's over 40 years. I've been an audiophile for over 40 years. Yay! Cam Coffee, sign me up. Robin, I'll sell a pound of coffee to Robin. The best advice I can give is enjoy whatever you have while you can. Feliciana says, yes, whole coffee beans. Frank just joined. Not sure what's allowed to be asked or not, but if appropriate, your thoughts on the benefits of a linear power supply for the Wing Pro. I think that's a great segue, because I think most of this is going to come down to the age-old measurements, electronics engineers versus like experience. And I think that's a great one to talk about. Is that Starscream? Or what was that? What was that Transformer? I had that one. It was the F-14. It was awesome. I sold them all at a garage sale, and I really regret it. Anyway, this is going to come down. A lot of this conspiracy stuff is going to come down to, number one, there's a reason why some of this stuff has a bad name, like cables. There's a reason why cables has a bad name. It's because people have taken advantage of it and just charged crazy amounts for cables. Linear power supplies, in my experience, and it's limited, but in my experience, a linear power supply absolutely makes a difference. Absolutely. To the point where I have I have one, I think it's 2 transformers in there, obviously. So I have one that's a 5 volt and a 12 volt. So I'll run like the Gishelli Labs J2 DAC off the 12 volt output, and I'll run the Weem off of the 5 volt output. So absolutely, I think they make a difference. I don't think people have like taken advantage with linear power supplies as far as like price. The problem with linear power supplies is there is not a good, reputable, there's not a good, affordable dealer of linear power supplies that's readily available. Usually you have to go to like AliExpress or some other places. Like I wish Emotiva would make a linear power supply. I wish Gishelli Labs, would make a linear power supply. That'd be cool. Very cool. Robotech. I don't know. Is that like a ripoff of Transformers? That legit looks exactly like the F-14 that I had. Hey, CH. Hi from Panama. Hello. Oh my goodness, look at that. Edward Laganza. We got Godzilla coming in there. $5. It's a nuclear super chat. $5. Thank you so much. Have a Starbucks on this old man. Edward, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Robotech is a different show. I never knew that. I never watched that one. AliExpress seems okay, but Shenzhen is sketchy. I've never had a problem with Shenzhen audio. I've got a buddy who flies for UPS, and they go into Shenzhen all the time. Pick up a whole bunch of stuff in Shenzhen. Oh, it was anime predating Transformers. So Transformers is a ripoff of Robotech. How was that for a kick in the pants? Actually, the other way around. Hasbro was sued for that model and had to stop selling it. No kidding. Actually, I wish I still had it then. It'd probably be worth something. Do you know that's how I funded the channel to start? Is I sold all my, not all of them, the majority of my old G.I. Joe and Star Wars action figures from when I was a kid. That's how I funded the channel. So I sold all of those, and then I bought a whole bunch of speakers and stuff. And then I would like sell those speakers and bring in more speakers, all that stuff. Temu is sketchy. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I had a sponsorship inquiry from Temu. So I have a guy, or I have an agency that handles all my sponsorship gigs now. And the guy was like, hey, do you want to do sponsorship with Temu? And it was good money, right? It was more money than what most of my other sponsors pay me. And I was like, oh, I can't, man. I cannot do a Temu sponsorship. Anyway, what up, Randy? Back to watch later. Have a great day. Will do. Yes, Predator. Hey, from the UK. Hello, Kevin. How are you? Sparkos or Akatika could make an affordable linear power supply. I don't think Akatika is going to do it. I don't think he cares. He's going to make what he wants to make and be done. Like, I don't think Akatika is like... Anyway, he just doesn't seem like the type that would be like, oh, here's an opportunity in the market. I'm going to take it. He's just... I think he's motivated by, like, putting out really good stuff. Sparkos? Maybe. I'll actually see Andrew next week in Florida. There you go. Gramsley linear power supply and headphones. I don't know what that means. But thank you, Owen Roberts. 199 pounds. Almost £2. Is that right? Gramsley do linear power supply on headphone amps. I think they make a difference. The Gishelli Labs J2 is a 12 volt. So you can get a linear power supply for that one. Some headphone amps already have linear power supplies in them to begin with. Temu is not good. I think Temu to me looks like what is that place? They sell super cheap stuff. It's not Bing. Anyway, Wish. I think that's what it is. Wish.com or something like that. Anyway, Temu is like, if it was like one thing, it would have been maybe different, but it's like everything. I don't know. Schenectady. Hello, Donald. How are you? I saw something in here. Oh. Cheers from Russia and Tannoy fan club. Cheers to you, my friend. I don't get a lot of folks from Russia in here. Will the linear power work with Node X? You have to crack it open. Actually, Neil, one of my patrons, is in here. He did a linear power supply upgrade to his Node. I don't know if it was a Node X, but there's a lot involved. What really a linear power supply for me, what's easier is to take something that has a barrel connection, and then you have a barrel connection on the back of the linear power supply. You just run a cable right into the barrel connection of your, I don't know. I use it for Weems. I use it for J2 DACs, anything that's 5 volt, but you may have to get like a barrel to USB-C adapter to be able to run power off of it. So anyway, yeah. All right, we got that one. Skull Squadron. Shockwave. He was an Autobot, though. Was it Shockwave? I don't know. If it's good Java, I'll take it. Wirehead, I can make no guarantees that it'll be good coffee. That's the problem. Like, I've looked into doing coffee before, and it's expensive. If you want, like, guarantee that it's going to be, like, awesome and fancy, unless you buy it on scale. And if you buy it on scale, then what am I going to do with it, right? If people don't buy the coffee, I'm going to have 100 pounds of coffee in the garage. Anyway, I've got to figure out a way to get good, affordable coffee, and then I'll put it in a bag, sell it. Oh, look at this, $19.99. Scott Reisling. Look at you, Scott. Scott Reisig, $19.99. Hey, from Hingham, Massachusetts. Marantz 2252B is currently in for service. Might be a while. Really torn on getting another vintage receiver. HK770 dual or jump down the ZA3 Sparkos rabbit hole. What do you think? Thanks. Scott, first of all, thank you so much. Very generous super chat. I'll put it to you this way. Like, vintage audio is awesome. Like, look at that. Look at that Kenwood back there. It's so pretty. You know why it's back there? Right there, looking so pretty? Is because it looks pretty. You know why it's not here? Connected to stuff? Is because I can't... Now, that one came from Just Audio, so I'm sure it's great. It's going to work. The problem with vintage audio is it sounds great, it looks great, it doesn't always work great. And that's why I like this Advanced Paris. Let me undo this. I love this Advanced Paris down here because it gives you some of the vintage vibes, but it's modern. So the short answer to your question is, I would have fun with ZA3 and some Sparco's op amps. It's affordable. Chances are, unless you put the op amps in backwards, it's gonna work. And it's cheap. I already said it's affordable. And it sounds good. Look at this beautiful thing. Oh, you hear that big old relay clicking? Anyway, yeah. So that's what I would do, personally. Or I would look, I mean, that's expensive, though. It's super expensive. That's what I would do. Like, I would go, like, let the pendulum go all the way the other way. Like, get a Class D, upgrade the op amps, have fun with it, play around with it. And if you don't love it, then, I mean, you're not out of a whole bunch, right? But I think you'll have a lot of fun with the ZA3. I think going with another vintage is fun, but good stuff is so crazy as far as the price goes. I would go a different direction and just have fun with it. All right, I think we had another super chat in here. Hector Valentin, $4.99. Thank you. Thank you, Randy, for your service to this country and the audiophile community. You're welcome. I had a blast in the Navy. I can see my stuff up there. All right, there's my officer cover with my whites. There's my great-grandfather's flag. And then you can't really see it. And there's a couple of hats. One from NPTU Charleston and the other from the USS Nevada. So you're welcome. Thank you, Hector, $4.99. My service to the audiophile community. I had a great time in the military. It was difficult sometimes, but I had a great time. I have a great time doing what I do now. It's difficult sometimes. I work hard, but it's just amazing. Like, it's a dream come true. Excuse me. The reason why it's a dream come true is because of support from people like you. It's for you, Hector. DeMorkin, $5. Any chance you will review Huss speakers? They look to be a real bargain. I don't know. I haven't heard of them, and I haven't talked to anybody at that company. I would love to, though. So, yes, there is a chance. I just don't know them. Kevin Garner, $20. Dude, thank you. What are you doing, Kevin? I got laid off 3 weeks ago, so now working at home again and building my AV repair skills while still repairing welding equipment. Again, thanks for your work here. Wishing you and yours all the very best, Kevin. Kevin, I really appreciate the super chat, man, but if you got laid off, please keep your money, brother. Very kind of you, but very kind of you. Very generous, Kevin. All the best. I was talking to somebody else about this. A friend who's not really an audiophile. We were talking about making money in this business and things like that, and I said, if somebody is willing to learn how to repair vintage receivers, they could make a very nice living doing just that, because there's not enough really good, gifted people that you can trust to repair vintage audio. Like, I live in a metro area of like 7 million. There's like 2. There's 3 that I know of around here. One doesn't speak a lick of English. I think he does the best work. But number 1, I can't communicate with him. Number 2, he charges a lot. There's one outfit that smells like an ashtray when you go in there. It literally is like a junk place. And then there's another guy that never returned my emails. So I don't even know if like he exists. But it's a dying industry, or it's a dying trade. So I think if anybody like leans into it and you know, leans into some marketing and social media stuff, figures out how to ship things back and forth very well, they can make a killing doing vintage receiver repair. Kevin, all the best to you. Good luck. And thank you for the $20, my friend. Mitch, $2. Recommendations on monoblocks other than shit. Emotiva makes some really good monoblocks. Sorry. They make some differential monoblocks. They make just regular monoblocks. So they have, I think, 3 different tiers of monoblocks. So they have the Emotiva A1, which is toroidal transformer, and they're basics A1. And they put out good power. I have a pair of them over there. Then they have the Emotiva XPA monoblocks, which is a switching power supply, but it's a really good switching power supply. It's super north of anything audible. And then they have the DR1s, which is a differential monoblock. So anyway, Emotiva's got 3 to choose from and maybe more. Then you have all the affordable stuff. It's not really monoblock-ish, but you can put it in mono. That would be the ZA3. That would be the A07 Max from... I just dropped a Weem on the floor. A07 Max from AIMA, and then the ZA3 from Fozzy Audio, which is kind of my favorite because there's a lot of real estate for cooling and things like that. But there's a lot. I mean, if you just do some research, there's a lot of other stuff out there, I think. Sorry. I thought I was better, but the more I talk, the more I need to blow my nose, and I don't need to blow my nose. Dan, $5 Canadian. Thank you. I picked up an AudioQuest Power Quest 2. Made a huge difference. Unplugged it and plugged it back into test. Made my Peachtree sing soundstage wide. Is that a power conditioner? I don't know. Is that a power conditioner? AudioQuest Power Quest 2. Let me look that up. AudioQuest Power Quest 2. Yep. Okay. Yep. I have that one, I think. Anyway. Great segue, Dan. Thank you. I got these buttons.
Yes.
I love them.
Well, yes.
All right. Okay, so interestingly enough, I bought this little device, which is not even an audio device, right? So this is Line EMI monitor, tri-field, meter, EM100, okay? So what you do is you plug this thing into an outlet, and it gives you a readout. I guess how much EMI or whatever is going on. So I was talking to my patrons because we talk a lot about fun stuff like noise and power lines. And this isn't even sold for audio. This is sold for like people that are actually doing electrical work. And people told me that my patrons told me like the noisiest room in your house electrically is your kitchen because the fridge is terrible and all this stuff. So I bought this on a lark. Just start plugging it in places. Plugged it in the kitchen, sure enough. Plugged it in the office, got like a certain number. Plugged it in the kitchen, that number was like 5 times the number it was in my office. And it gives you a readout, and then it also, well here, I'll just plug it in, I'll show you. It gives you a readout, and then it also gives you audible noise. So the more noise is in your line, the more it audibly makes like, here we go, makes like a hiss, okay? So I'll show you how it works. No buttons on it. You just plug it in. All right, here we go. And right now we have 108, and that's actually higher. Maybe it's because I've got a mic going on or whatever. Okay, so we're getting these numbers, right? Okay, so plugged it into the kitchen, and that number was like 375 or 400 or something. So it's like 110 right here. And then I have three power conditioners really. So I have the Audio Quest, and then I have 2 Furman power conditioners, which are like pro audio power conditioners. And I wanted to do the same test. And I wanted something that was like not my ears. So I plugged it in to the same outlet that my power conditioner was plugged into. Okay, got the number. Plugged it into the power conditioner. That number went from about 110 or 115 down to 70. What type of audible improvement that makes, I don't know. But I did know that it made a difference. Then I brought it into my office, plugged it into the same outlet that my Furman power conditioner was plugged into. Plugged this into the power conditioner. Made a difference. And incidentally, it dropped the same almost exact amount that the Audio Quest dropped the noise. Okay? So the takeaway on that is like, hey, the Furman works too, and it works as good as the Audio Quest. Now, there may be some more like noticeable differences or whatever. Took it upstairs. Same thing. So all like anecdotal sound evidence. What am I trying to say? If you get rid of the anecdotal evidence of the sound improvements, this actually showed that power conditioners do make a difference, at least on this little device. How much that improves sonics, I cannot say. But I can say it was pretty cool to go plug this into different parts of the house and see different levels of noise. So it was really cool. Thank you, Dan. I was going to talk about that. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Here we go. We have M. Terrence. $20. Thank you. Love your channel. Thanks to you, I have upgraded from a soundbar to Fozzy Audio amp, Polk speakers, and a Klipsch subwoofer. Loving it. I love to hear these stories. And thank you, M. Terrence, for the $20. It's so cool, right? That was the whole goal, right, on this YouTube thing, was to help people get into this wonderful hobby. And, I mean, if I can make a career out of it, make a career out of it. So, I'm so glad that you're loving your stuff. It's a great journey, too. Have fun with it. Thank you for the super chat.
Well, yes.
That's not a very good one.
Yeah, baby.
Again, not very good.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why are they all female?
Yes, 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 yes.
All right. I guess I got a female yes button, which is strange because usually I don't hear
Yes.
from the females in my house about anything. Recommendation on a power amp, new or used. There's a whole bunch of good ones out there. Depends. I mean, they sound different. I love stuff from Emotiva. I like stuff from Skit. I mean, if it's like a legit just a power amp, I would go Emotiva. I tell you what, there's a Period is making a new power amp. Then you have stuff from Monolith. And usually, like, I don't like do backflips over Monolith stuff. But they have a 2-channel amp that pretty much, I mean, if you look at the internals, looks just like any of the other amps. Like good amps from other companies. Like for less than $500. And I think it makes like 90 watts into 8. Maybe 130 into 4 or something. Less than $400 for a toroidal transformer amplifier. Then you get like a 5-channel. So, yeah, that's what I would recommend. Monolith, Emotiva, Skit. If you are cool with Class D, Fozzy, ZA3, IEMA A07 Max. You can look at places like Outlaw Audio. I think Outlaw stuff is coming out of the same places that a lot of other manufacturers are coming out of, and it's a reputable manufacturer. So I think Outlaw is good stuff. Yeah. How about running smaller devices on 5-volt USB battery packs with the same pack also plugged in to maintain charge? Seems to tame some hum on my Wii Mini. So, Wirehead, $5. Thank you very much. Think about doing it this way, okay? Excuse me. Think about having it connected to because basically you're filtering with the battery, right? Think about doing it this way. So you have a smart plug, like something from, Alexa or other stuff like that you run a routine on, that you're charging it, and only charging it, I don't know, from like midnight to whenever you're not listening to the device, you're charging it, right? And so you're actually running only off of the battery while you're doing your listening, and then at night you turn on the plug, which in turn charges the battery bank, right? I think that would be a cool thing to test. Some of those battery banks I've heard can be noisy, but I think that would be a fun thing to test. Is test it plugged in, basically charging all the time, and then test it plugged in, not charging, and then see if having it plugged in but not charging adds any noise. I think that would be cool. I've always wanted to do that. I don't know why I don't. I mean, it'd be easy to do. Ed Homewood, $10. Sorry I'm late. Ed, no reason to apologize for anything. You shouldn't be late. You shouldn't be sorry. Sorry. You can be late. You shouldn't be sorry. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ed Homewood. Steve Zeidman, $9.99. Just stopped to say hi. Hello to you, Steve. My patrons are the best. My battery packs don't output while charging. There you go. Then run a smart plug on it, and then charge it when you're not listening to it. I think that would be cool. Anchor power station 525 would be a good option. Solar charging, sure. The point is like what you're doing is you're running the device off of the battery bank. And then if you're undisciplined like me, I wouldn't think to recharge it because I'd be doing other stuff. So then you always have it hooked up, but it's not necessarily always charging. You set a routine so it charges at night. So you always have a full battery when you're listening to it. Actually, that is exactly the process I'm working on in programming my home automation system to do it. Yeah, super easy to do. Actually, here, watch this. Alexa, turn off the studio. See? Alexa, turn on the studio. I have more stuff. See, the Ken one popped on. I'm getting some more stuff hooked up to it. Doing a lot of automation. You know what's one of the Alexa devices? I actually think a lot of them, you can do like proximity sensing. So when I walk in a room, it can just turn everything on, turn everything off. Yeah. All right. I think we got to all the super chats. Mark was cool. Kevin Garner, I wonder how long my 1,800-pound 36-volt forklift battery would last running my audio system. I don't know. I think the better question is how long would your audio system last running from that? I have 2 battery packs for my cameras and just swap them. Yeah, I do too, actually. If you could see all the charging going on, here's another. So I'm constantly, as soon as it goes bad, I charge it. And then the good batteries go in this drawer right here. This is all charged batteries. Because I've got so many like batteries. Like this is for one of those lights back there. Anyway, I think this is actually a bad battery. Let me plug this in. Yep, that was bad. I just activate port. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I got your device going too. Ian, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yep. Power amps versus monoblocks. Just trying to understand. Monoblock is one channel. So stereo is two channels. So you have a left and a right. A monoblock, a true monoblock, is only amplifying either the left or the right. Whereas this is just pretend like there's no volume knob here. So pretend like this is just a power amplifier. Can't control volume on it. On the back, you have two inputs, a right and left, and then you have two speaker outputs, right and left. On a monoblock, you would only have one of these, okay? And then you'd only have, let's do it this way, one of these. So you're only powering one channel off of a monoblock. The reason why people like monoblocks comes back to some of the things we were talking about before. So power. So you have cleaner power. What you could also have is less crosstalk. Crosstalk is when you get a little bit of the right channel information going into the left channel. And even though you may not be able to hear it, it's still there. So when you separate the amps, you separate power supplies, the prevailing thought process is you're going to get better power, more power, and then you're going to get less crosstalk. So, yeah. But some amps, like this one, can be run in stereo, which means both channels, left and right. And you can flip a switch and then run it in mono. Okay? Will you get the same benefits as a true mono block? Maybe. You're going to get two different power supplies for sure if you're doing that. So, yeah. That's the difference. That's the difference. Alright. Did I miss any super chats? I don't think so. I just did! Mark Shkani with the cool Punisher logo. I've got, like, I refuse to, one of the things, so I mentioned earlier that I funded this channel from the beginning off of selling old action figures that I had when I was a kid. I also have a whole bunch of comic books, and I refuse to get rid of them. And I have a whole bunch of Punisher comic books. I got Punisher 1 through like 50, I don't know. Anyway, love the Punisher. Mark Shkini, $10. Thank you so much. I just got a Gishelli Labs DAC. Made a huge difference. For the $44.99 and the Opt-Amp RCA upgrade. So impressed. Also, I have the Sin. How did you connect the Apple remote? And thank you for everything. How did I connect the Apple remote? Okay. So, what you have to do is you go into the Apple TV settings, okay? And then you go into, it's because it says remotes and Bluetooth devices. And you will set up a way where you will use your remote from the Sin. And if you do it at the right time and you do volume up, volume down, then it remembers that signal, and then it should work. I think though, if I'm thinking correctly, like the Apple TV asks for volume up, volume down, and then it also asks for a couple things like enter and some other stuff, which obviously the Sin doesn't have. If I remember correctly, I had to kind of fake it out and just do volume up or volume down again, or something like that. I did something. But I was able to get it to work, but I think the only thing that I could get to work is volume up, volume down. I don't think I could change inputs with the Apple remote, if that makes sense. So I have a bunch of old comics from the 60s and 80s in the closet. I didn't take very good care of them, so some of them have aged. But I'm actually thinking about just rereading them. They look like so much fun. Oh, speaking of old stuff that's really fun. So, one of the viewers sent this in to one of my patrons. Check these out. These are from 2001. So this is McFarlane Toys. That's Jason Newsted. All right, and I'm going to unbox these simply because like this is all yellow and stuff, and I want to set it up. So these are Metallica action figures. And each one comes with a different piece of the drum kit. So you'd have to buy all of them. Look how yellow that is. You'd have to buy all of them to get the full drum kit. Anyway, I have all of them. I got them yesterday. I'm going to unbox them and build the drum kit. There's Lars. Lars actually looks like a gremlin. Like all the other action figures look pretty good. Lars doesn't look very good. Everybody else looks good. And like they do look in person. Lars not so much. But anyway, I'm very excited. I'm going to build a little diorama of Metallica action figures. And then I'm going to like film it and like try to make and then do some lighting. And then I'm going to put it on Instagram with Metallica music in the background. Because you can't put it, I can't put it on YouTube with Metallica music. Otherwise I'll get a copyright. But on Instagram, doesn't matter. You can. Anyway, I'm so excited about my Metallica action figures. It's crazy that that's from 2001. So it's fairly accurate then. I kid, Lars. Don't sue me. Anyway, yeah, they so cool. Did I get to see Stevie Ray Vaughan? Did I get to see? So on the back, Jerry Garcia, Jim Morrison, somebody from AC/DC, the Iron Maiden guy. You have Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that's the witch from Blair Witch Project. Candyman, T2, Texas Chainsaw. You got Bruce Campbell over here. And then Jaws. Seems kind of strange. I am not happy in one sense that I got these because now it makes me want to collect all of them. Anyway, how cool is that? And whoever sent these in wouldn't take any money. Like I almost insisted that like let me pay you something for these. They wouldn't do it. They're the best viewers, fans on the planet. Hatfield looks like the lion from Wizard of Oz now. He's in his 60s. I know he's had some issues with alcohol, so there's some miles on that car. Anyway, is there a way to make these monoblocks have a single volume control? Yeah, really, there is only one way. A true monoblock, you're going to need volume control from a preamp. So a preamp is going to have preamp outputs, and you'd run the left channel to one monoblock, and you run the right channel to the different monoblock, and then you control the volume on the preamp. And if you're using like these little guys as a monoblock, you should set the volume and then leave it. Now, on some of these, you can set it all the way to max, but most of the time, what you should do, set it to about 75, 80, 90%. Because really what this is now it's a gain control instead of a volume control. But if you're doing monoblocks, if you're using these as power amps, you should be controlling volume north of the power amp. So whatever you're plugging the power amp into, that should be the thing that's controlling volume. That makes sense. I see. Awesome. I think Corey Taylor collects action figures too. I have a whole box. I have a bunch of these Star Wars, like the 6-inch Star Wars figures. And I had them lined up, had like little scenes and everything. And then my daughter, who's 6, soon to be 7, she would come in and she'd be like, I want to play with your action figures. And like, what am I going to say? Like, no, you can't play with those. So I let her play with them. And she would like take a lightsaber and just go, just because. So anyway, all my Star Wars stuff is in boxes right now. I still have everything. I think outside of losing one lightsaber, I think everything else is still intact. But every time she would play with stuff, lose things in there. So I need to go back through them. Get shot. You know what? It's fun. I like action figures. Got the ammo. 803s on your recommendation. Paired with Pioneer VSX D308. Not the most sophisticated setup in the world, but sounds solid enough for my living room. Thanks for recommending. Of course. Those Yamos, I mean, for what they are, don't buy them for more than probably $150 a pair. There was a home theater setup. So you get the center, you get two 803s and two 801s. That used to be $238. Now, the original price on that was like $400 or $500, which was insane. But that home theater pack went down to like $238. And at that price, it's a no-brainer, man, to get those. Han Solo hiding in a box from a 6-year-old. That's exactly right. But, she says, can I play with them? I'm like, yeah, of course. She also plays with my Star Wars Legos. Now, I do supervise that a little bit more closely. But after she plays with my Star Wars Legos, it's never quite the same. And I am not unbuilding it or, dismantling it and building it back together. But what are you going to do? Like, your daughter says, can I play with your Star Wars stuff? I'm like, yes. You always say yes. If I ever have something super nice, like I might have to just put it in a glass box or something. John Brender. $10. Thank you, John. You're the best. To run with SSCS5, would you prefer SMSL A0300 or Cambridge AXA35? AXA35 all day long with that question. Not to say that the SMSL A0300 isn't a good amp. It is. But that AXA, with its tonality, with its warmth, with its emphasis on the lower mid-range and the bass, perfect pairing for the SSCS5s. Absolutely perfect. And you got some good current in the AXA 35. So even though it's less powerful than the AO300, I think in reality it's actually more powerful because you have more current capacity, more capacitance that's going to be able to give you the oomph when it needs it. AXA 35, 1,000 times over. That would be my choice. If I was running that setup, I would be running it with the AXA 35. Fantastic piece of equipment. I hope Cambridge makes more of that stuff. My older son has a 7-foot bookcase of my old D&D books and gaming supplies. Very cool. Very cool. Looking for a good amp to match up with a pair of Magnapan LRS Plus I just picked up. Maybe someone in the chat or another Patreon member could, if you don't have one. I don't have any personal experience with that, John. I know some people were running Crown Drive Core amps for those. I would be willing to bet that any of the Emotiva stuff could handle it. Of course, the Schkit stuff, but that's pretty expensive. I mean, unless you get like a Vidar or something. I don't know what the impedance is on those. You might be careful with Schkit stuff because even if you bridge the Schkit stuff, I think it's 8 ohm limited. So you'll put it into protect. Emotiva stuff, check out those monolith amps. I think they put out some decent power. But from just my experience hearing stuff, a lot of people would put those drive cores on them. Because those drive cores can also do something very interesting. They can put a high pass filter on the Maggies. And the Maggies, from what I've heard, don't like to do a lot of bass. So you can high pass the Maggies at like 80 hertz and then put a subwoofer on it. So anyway, 4 ohm. Yeah, if it's 4 ohm, dude, shit's probably not going to work if you run it at any type of higher power. I mean, Vidar will probably work for a while until you pump some real juice through it, and then it'll shut in. So I look at drive core. If it were me personally, I'd be looking at Emotiva. I would also be looking at that monolith stuff. That's what I would do. If anybody else has any recommendations, pop them in the chat. Will you review the 1723 Arundel Tower? I don't have any plans on it, and that's probably getting to be pretty pricey because even the 723 Monitor S, I mean, those are north of $2,000. So that's kind of my limit when it comes to that stuff. I may do some more expensive stuff. Actually doing probably releasing that video this weekend on the gorgeous, a little preview. Gorgeous Sonus Faber. Look at these. These are the Lumina Amateur. Lumina 2 Amateur. It's like a leather, and then look at that. I think that's Baltic birch that has got just a ton of poly on it. And you have Amateur on the top. Just absolutely gorgeous speakers. Very good. Front ported. There's a cool port on the side. Really well done speaker. Made in Italy. So it's not just like a pretty face that's made in China or anything. Made in Italy. That's what they say. Yeah. Dan M, $9.99. Coffee! Exclamation point. Thank you so much.
Well, yes.
Awesome. Luke Williams, super sticker, $5. Love these buttons. What to upgrade first? PC, SU1, V3, Q150s. I mean, that's a fun setup. You got everything you need. What to upgrade first? I mean, if you're not going to upgrade your PC, I don't know if that'll make a difference. I would upgrade. Q150s are awesome. They're super fun. V3 is awesome. A little bit lean on the bottom, the V3. SU1 is awesome. I think you're going to have to pay, if you really want to step up from the SU1, I think you have to go to the J2 from Gishelli Labs. I mean, if you really got an itch to upgrade, maybe the V3 to ZA3 with Sparkos op amp. V3, here's your upgrade. Get some Sparkos op amps and put them in the V3. That's your upgrade. Not so cheap audio, man. Yeah, cheap's relative, right? You can have a cheap Italian sports car. You can have a cheap Wagyu steak, right? I mean, cheap's relative. They're $1,500 a piece, or a pair. $1,500 a pair, which is less than Buchard speakers that I've reviewed, Klipsch speakers that I've reviewed, Arundel speakers that I've reviewed. So $1,500 for a pair of speakers, while it is, by definition, for most people, not cheap, it's cheaper than some of the other stuff that I've done. I think $1,500 is a more than fair price for those speakers. Yeah. Tell at Ed just changed his profile picture. Tell at Danny all to run Audiovana, and it will be wonderful. There you go. Run Audiovana at Danny all 2. All right, where are we at? 55 minutes. All things are relative to my relatives. My ex-relatives have all my old things. Rainey has reviewed so much super cheap over the years. It's nice to branch out some higher tier stuff. Yeah, I enjoy it. I'm not trying to. That speaker's gorgeous, and I got a chance to go to the House of Sound in New York City, which has a ton of Sonus Faber stuff in it. This is the cheapest Sonus Faber speaker that they make. So I requested if I could review that one. And they obliged, which is very nice of Sonus Faber. So I am the cheap audio man. So if I'm going to review Sonus Faber, then I should review their cheapest speaker, which is those. And that's where we're at. So yeah. Yeah, $1,500 is fancy, very aspirational for a ton of people. I get it. But $1,500, if you save up for a year, 2 years, is attainable. $5,000, $10,000, then we're starting to get to the point where it's like, this is never happening. But $1,500 could happen. Most people probably have $300, $400, $500 worth of stuff laying around their house that they could sell. So you're a third of the way there. So $1,500, I agree with Christopher 100% here, is at least somewhat in the ballpark, attainable. Did I miss any super chats? Luke Williams, $5. Did I mention you? Thank you, Luke, if I did not mention you very much. Any thoughts on Exponent in 8 weeks? Barry, yes, I have a lot of thoughts on Exponent. I'm going. I'm excited to see you guys. Excited to see my patrons. Excited to see the stuff. I think I'm going to be on a panel this year. So if you go to Exponent, you can come listen to me talk about stuff. Spaghetti dinners are usually cheap. Is that why you eat that twice a week? I don't know. So that is an inside joke from me. I'm not going to tell anybody about that. But that's my inside joke for people that make snarky, nasty comments. I ate spaghetti twice last week. Anyway. Decent upcharge on the new Emotiva speakers. Aesthetics aside, is it worth upgrading from the old to the new? No idea. I have no idea. I haven't heard them. I think though, God, this is like cockeyed. I have to cut my beard. I think we have to take one thing into consideration when it comes to Emotiva is they have been basically perpetually on sale for the last 6 months. So what is in our brains about what the price is not really reasonable. If you think about it, B2 Plus right there. The B2 Plus is the 6.5 inch bookshelf. When that speaker was released, I think it was $550. I think it was released at $499 and then immediately got a price increase to $550. And then when they were basically blowing them out or liquidating them, they came down to I think $370 or something. So if we think that the bookshelf speaker is I don't know what the new prices are, but that was $550. So whatever their 6-inch two-way speaker is, I don't know what that current price is, but we should compare it to $550 and not to what they were selling when they were being clearanced, basically. J.R. Jandel, $5. My budget cutoff point was $1,500 on a single purchase. That was funny because when I started the channel, it was kind of like $500 per component was kind of the cutoff. And I'm kind of similar to you. Speakers kind of go up to $2,000. Now this amp, a beautiful, gorgeous A10 Classic, that was $2,500. Worth every penny. Absolutely worth every penny, this thing. But it is what it is. Like, I'm not reviewing $10,000 speakers. Will I ever? Maybe. I doubt it though. But $1,500, yeah. On a Singapore. I ended up going vintage for a Snell Type A Mark II. Not disappointed. There you go. Look at that kitty. All right, we are just at an hour. Thank you so much for hanging out with me over lunch. I hope you all have a great day. Make sure keep your eyes peeled for the Sonus video that's coming out. Probably not tomorrow, because I want to make sure it's really good. So I'm going to edit it and make it all look nice and all that stuff. So probably coming out Saturday or Sunday. If you're into watches, check out my watch channel, The Cheap Watchman. I think I'm going to have a video coming out from that in a day or two. And y'all be safe. Be kind to each other. I love you so much. Thank you for making my dreams come true. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Y'all have a good one.